Hello again and welcome to Leading with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. The information on today's program was gathered in many different places and many different people. If you hear yourself in our discussion today, understand and realize it is not all about you. For speaking, appearances, contacts, give us a call, 727-422-1833, dick at ewfw.org. Today, I have put on our calendar to speak about something that leaders, I believe, is starting to run rampant. And I'm going to be honest with you, it almost scares me. It scares me because it has become such a part of our daily life. And we as leaders need to do something about it. The part is fear. Now, the reason this has come so close is, once again, I have returned from a meeting where the smell and the language of fear permeated the room. The speaker was so direct, so base, that you could see the fear growing in other people's body language. Their emotions were running high. You see, fear of today was happening. Fear of tomorrow was being installed. And fear of the future was definitely weighing heavy. You see, for some, fear of success is just as bad as the fear of failure. Fear of what someone said about them. Fear of what some would think if they didn't do exactly like they were supposed to, or the way they were supposed to do it. And the thing about fear is, it can run rampant, and it runs right hand in hand with poverty mentality. You see, instead of I will, I did, I completed. Unfortunately, that thing of I can't, I hope, I'll try. And that fear gets installed. And that's why it bothers me so much when I hear leaders doing this. Just leaders, I think we have a better responsibility to those around us not to be bringing that type of message to them. You see, I tell you, I just do not understand why. No one seems to understand it's who they are who will make the decision. People don't seem to understand it's up to them to make a decision, make a choice, whether they will be fearful of what that speaker is laying down in front of them. You see, it's up to each individual, not the person sitting next to them, not the person on TV, not the person in the front of the pulpit, not any of those people. It's your choice. And that's why leaders, I believe it's so interesting that so many are using the emotional quotient, the EQ, to try to influence and sway. You see, people think, and people who watch TV and listen to radio and read newspapers, and it bothers me that they're still not taking the time to think for themselves. Leaders, I'm going to encourage you to stop this type of onslaught. You see, I read once that Wayne Dyer said this. He said, what other people think of me is none of my business. If you're doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do, then you're right on the money, even when other people don't agree. Now, I'm not saying to stop and bury your head in the sand like an ostrich. I'm not saying that a bit. I am saying to take in as much information. Do your own research about what is and is not the truth. And then, and only then, make your decision and your choice. You see, if you're prepared, if you're staying on top of what's going on, if you're doing the research, if you're staying in tune, I tell you to fear not. Because you will have the information you need to make quality choices. Leaders, stop putting this world of fear in people's worlds. Now, I'm going to step into the next piece here that we've called lessons learned. One of the things is this. If you've made a mistake as a leader, if you've made an error, if you've had a terrible failure, I want to encourage you to take immediate action. You see, when you mess up, acknowledge it and own it as soon as you can. Don't delay, because if you do, it'll look like it's a cover-up, and it will destroy your credibility. It'll destroy how people look at you and your trustworthiness, your honesty, your integrity. We all are going to screw up. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to have some failures. We're all going to say something we shouldn't have said sometime. You see, that's because we're human. But what differentiates others from great leaders is taking the immediate action. Ask yourself, what did I learn from that? And what will I do different next time? Admit where you messed up. Fix it if you can. Change it if you can. Do whatever you need to do to make it right. Don't delay. The longer you put it off, the more other people have had time to make up their own stories about what just happened. And those stories are hard to squelch once they get told more than twice. Be clear. You understand what that means, be clear? I want you to make sure that you're identifying the mess and what the outcomes very well might be because of it. Keep everyone involved in the loop of knowledge. Where you're at right now, where do we need to go to do the correction, what needs to happen, and provide a solution ASAP. You see, every time that I've messed up and I didn't do these things, it took me a long time to recapture my credibility. You see, the lesson is this. No one is perfect. We're all human. Knowledge shared can keep someone else from that same trap. Think about that. It's okay to say, hey, look, I once did this and this is what happened. I surely wouldn't want you to take and fall into that same world. Learning from a personal mess shows you are like everyone else. Leaders, the best thing you can ever do is to make sure that people know that you're human, that you're not a robot, that you make mistakes too, but the difference could be that you take accountability for them. Now, I'm going to encourage you to always listen for that feedback. Sometimes, well, that's just not easy. You see, listening to feedback sometimes is someone saying to you, boy, you screwed up. And you know what? We should have never done that. Well, here's what I tell everybody. If I did make a mistake and I did screw up, it's no big deal. What's the solution? And you need to listen for those solutions in the feedback that they're going to give you. Encourage it to be done in an emotional, non-emotional opportunity. And you need to hold your emotions in check as they do it. Don't get all bent out of shape. It's just a thing. It's not life or death, hopefully. And if it is, learn from it. Move on. You've got to continually to do what's the right thing. It's the right thing to do. But by encouraging feedback from others, I'll tell you what, two people are going to learn. You and the person providing the feedback. That's a good thing. You need to keep on going, though. You see, you need to understand and realize that everyone messes up from time to time, but it's how you handle it that will tell the long-term tale. If you blow up and try to cover it up, soon to be found out, and soon to lose all your integrity and honesty and trustworthiness. And you'll no longer be a leader. You see, when trust and honesty and integrity go away, so does leadership. So when you do mess up, well, I've had to eat some crow and apologize. I've had to actually go and tell someone, I screwed up and you were right. Usually it's my wife, by the way. But, I've had to do that because we're human. So learn from it. Ask yourself those two questions. What did I learn from this? And what will I do different? You see, those two questions my grandfather laid on me when I was about 8 years old have still haunted me all these years. And the reason they haunt me so much is that I find myself asking those questions almost on a daily basis. So leaders, when this happens to you, correct it, take action. But then I want you to do three things. I want you to get up, look up, and get going once again. You see, when we do that, people realize we're human. They realize they're just like us. We're just like them. That there's the only difference is that title on the door, maybe. And if that's the only difference, well, take the stupid title off the door, and do like I did. I put my nickname up there. You can call me. Come on in. My name's Dick Powell. I hated that title on that door. Director of Education, Richard W. Powell. Who the heck was that, did they say? Lessons learned on how to make an error gracefully. All right. Let's move into the last part of our section of our talk today. And the reason I saved it for last, I've covered fear and I covered messing up, making errors, because I've seen this happen over and over. I'm going to talk about networking, and I'm going to give you some helpful hints on networking. It seems that that's the big thing to belong to a networking group if you own a company, or you're part of an organization where you need to get out and make contacts. And if done properly, I can tell you that networking is a marvelous tool. But if you're only doing it to go out and get clients, go out and sell something, and you're not doing it for the really reason why it's there, and that's to make contacts with people who very well could either know someone or themselves use the product or service that you have. And it's more about who they know and building your base than just building to sell to one person one time. Think about that. So let's look into what I call people that network are. And the reason I put it that way is because I've seen the people who really do this and do it well, first of all, are hard workers. They don't see that their job or their position is a 9 to 5 daily opportunity. When you own your own company, you own your own organization, whatever you want to call it, you're the head or you own it, and you're actually responsible to take and write someone else's check. Let me tell you something. It's a 7 days a week, 24 hours a day opportunity. And so networking is going to be hard work. It's going to be all the time, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing. It's more than just going to that once a week networking meeting, or some people that I know who go to a meeting every single day. We're going to talk about that. But networking, people who network know that it's hard work, and it's more than just a 9 to 5 opportunity. People that network are diligent. They know that slow and steady wins the race. They also know that you have to do it with enthusiasm every single day. You know, it used to bother people that I worked for in the upper level because I would hire for enthusiasm and not for knowledge. Used to drive them crazy. I have to tell you, though, I found over and over those who I had hired for enthusiasm were excited to learn and gather the knowledge they needed to do the opportunity and the job. Networkers are slow and steady because they understand that as you enter a networking group or our organization, it's not going to happen overnight. People will need to learn to know and trust and like you so that they feel comfortable about referring your sales or your service or whatever you have to offer to those around them, people, their contacts. Someone says, gee, I need a new plumber, and they know 2 or 3 of them. Will they refer you or someone else? People that network are prepared. This is one I have to tell you shocks me more than not. You need to have your business cards and your promotional materials with you at all times. I went to an organizational meeting the other day and met a person I really wanted to make sure that I stayed up with. And I said, man, I have your business card. And he said, well, I don't have business cards. I said, oh. So I had to do my thing. I took out my pad of paper, my 3x5 card, and I wrote down their name and their number and their business, and I wrote down their phone number and their email. And I'm going to encourage you to do that, but that you do it yourself so you can read your own writing, because sometimes when you let them do it, you can't read it. So they're prepared. They have a business card, their promotional materials with them. They have their, what we call their, 1 minute or elevator speech down pat. They can tell you who they are, what they represent, and the why you're going to need it. So you understand what they have to offer. You're going to find that people who network are dressed sharp. I have to tell you that I met a gentleman the other day. So I own my own company, so I can come in t-shirt and shorts, and I own the company. So, well, yes, but do you want to gather respect, and what's the message you're sending before you get to speak? I have to tell you that people at network are well rested. They know that if they look like they're bone tired, that people are not going to do business with them. Are you chasing, or are you being caught? Many times I'm going to tell you that being prepared means, for me, I get all pumped up. I listen to some upbeat music before I go to a meeting. I kind of like that. I get going. A thing that I'm going to remind you is always have a box of breath mints somewhere on your person. Coffee breath is terrible, so understand that. And another thing about being prepared, smile. You'll be surprised how many doors a smile will open just for you. Now, people who network are sincere. They're genuine. You want to get to know them before you ever ask for a sale. You know, building a relationship is more important than sale because you can make a sale one time, but if you build a relationship, it might go on and on. Amazing, isn't it? Be friendly. Smile. Give some compliments. People, it's a pretty easy thing to do. Everybody, you can find someone doing something great every single day. You can find something wonderful about them, whether it's a new bolo tie or something else that you notice. Hey, it doesn't hurt. Give some compliments. Focus on the other person. What are their needs? If you're going to be a great networker, you need to build that bridge and focus on the other person. What do they need? You might be able to contact one of your contacts and provide them with something that they need. Pretty good, huh? Networkers, though, are very inquisitive. No doubt about it. They ask questions about the other person, not about their business. I want to really know what they do for fun. That's usually the first thing I ask. What do you like to do for fun? Do you like to go, fishing or hunting or kayaking or canoeing, or do you like to go to the opera, or what do you like to do for fun? Hey, everybody's going to give you an answer of what they like to do for fun, I hope, unless, boy, well, I hope that's always true. You know what? If you're going to be a great networker, you need to have a game plan. For me, I have to tell you that my game plan is always, if I'm going to a networking opportunity, I'm going to gather 5 people's cards. That gives me a way that I can follow up with 5 people later on pretty easily. But I'm going to look for people who can help me build my own business, build my own company, my own organization, or they have a service that I need or I can provide to people within my organization. Now that's an important piece. So go with the game plan. Know that in my right front pocket, I have all of my business cards. In my left front pocket are the ones I've gathered. Know that, I'm going to walk around and I'm going to see a lot of people. What am I going to do? I'm going to make some contacts. I'm going to see people I know, and I'm going to greet and make those folks know that I still enjoy their company. But the number 9 is probably the most important piece. If you're a great networker, you're doing the follow-up. Now, that means touching base afterwards. Could be send them an email. Hey, it was really great to see you at the meeting today, or it was really great to meet you at the opportunity provided to us. Looking forward to seeing you again. When's a great date and time for us to share a cup of coffee and really share more about each other? Follow up. You see, if you're not following up, you're just there. And if you're just there, you're taking up space. I'm not so sure that's a great networker. Know the difference of what it means to be a great networker. Now, when you're asking questions and you're being inquisitive, and you've made the relationship, you've moved past the normal "Hi, how are you?" and you've moved into, your daughter's going to college. How's that going? Whatever it is, you're more inquisitive about them. Okay, then and only then ask a question if they know anyone that could use the service or opportunity that you have to offer. Okay. Sometimes I ask, well, who do you talk to? Where do you go to find people who might need the service that I have? You see, that's an important piece. that contact is going to be a real big one for you. They very well might know someplace you need to be seen and heard. Okay. This one I love to. When can we get together again? Spend a cup of coffee, a lunch, whatever. Just get to knowing one another so that you know each other's products and services, that you're very easily and feel comfortable about sharing with other people on your list or that you're in contact with. I am going to really encourage you, though. It's how do you present yourself? Do you present yourself as a know-it-all, big talker, fast talker, and you know what? There's no one else in the world, you downplay and badmouth everyone else that does and do what you do? How do you present yourself? How do you think you're being seen? This is a good time to, oftentimes after you've been doing networking for a while, to ask some people, hey, how am I seen? How am I heard? How do you feel when I start speaking? You see, emotions sell. Facts are the things that we justify with. Emotions sell, facts justify. And you need to think about that. No matter what you're doing, you're selling. I love when people say, I'm not a salesperson. Well, you've been a salesperson the day you were born. When you cried and you were selling something right then. Either I got dirty britches or I'm hungry. Now, so don't tell me you're not a salesperson. Okay? But you need to know how you present yourself to other people, how you're seen and heard. Now, one of the big things I have to tell you that if I hand out my business card, I'm going to expect one from you. The reason I say that is that, you know what? If you don't respect me enough to have something ready to go, I don't know if I should respect you enough to network with you. Now, I'm going to encourage you also to do some things that are going to be important for your follow-ups. As you're talking to them about their personal opportunities and you find out some likes or dislikes, you might want to make a note on the back of their card, or do like I do. I attach it to a 3x5 card because it's bigger. Write down their wife's name or their significant other's name, maybe their children's names, maybe what they like to do for fun. Is there something that they are looking for or need in their world, in their business, in their life? And anyone they know that might need what you're doing. Is there any kind of leads that they might be able to give you? Now, that's hard to get on the back of a little business card. But if you put it on a 3x5 card, and I know carrying a stapler is kind of rude, so I do paper clips nowadays. Paper clip the card to the 3x5 card, write their name on it so you know what goes together, and put them someplace special, whether it's in your right pockets, in your top pocket. Put it someplace special because you're going to do that follow-up and make that appointment to speak with them. Networkers are the most wonderful people to understand that ongoing and continuous learning, in order to keep learning and growing, is the biggest thing that they can do for themselves as well as their organization. And they know that action is always the attraction, so do those follow-ups. Now, I see our time's running short like usual. So on behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and the whole Leadership Corner team, we want to say thank you for being a part of our today's program. Our hope is that you've received a nugget of wisdom and guidance that will help you build your leadership ability. Now, if you have any questions or comments on today's program, don't hesitate. Give me a call, 727-422-1833. Send me an email, dick@ewfw.org. Go to the website, wander around, then leave me a message. Go to www.ewfw.org. And when you know that I'm the one you want to come and give your next keynote speech on leadership and accountability, or you want me to come and do some instruction for your leaders, you know what? Again, just give us a call here, 727-422-1833. Dick at ewfw.org, www.ewfw.org. Until next time, DW the Wrangler saying, ride hard, ride fast.